Welcome, Adventure. I'm GM Goblin, your GM Goblin. And today I'm going to talk about, after finishing part one, the first book, in Mummy's Mask, and how I'm liking it and what I think about it from a player's perspective, which I normally don't get to do. So if you would like to see more reviews of this AP as we go through it, or some of the other ones that I've ran or possibly have played in, then put them in the comments below. Subscribe and stick around for my videos. I'm going to try and put out one or two a week at least, and maybe some shorts. But now, if you don't know about Mummy's Mask, it is everything Egypt. And my wife, who has this linguistics and anthropology kind of history, she loves Egypt, and she loves the movies and everything. The Mummy is one of her favorite movies of all time. And so playing this was something that we were really looking forward to, especially since we get to play together. But it takes place in Osirian. Osirian is in the middle of a desert. It has some culture when it comes to some of the big events that have happened. You're looking at having your span. You're not having anything like what you dealt with, like Rise of the Rune Lord or something like that, but like everything in Paizo's world, it's pulled from reality and then it's made their own. You're uncovering a lot of tombs and a lot of history in the area. So it's really cool having the mix of your normal Paizo pantheon, and then you're pulling in Osiris and all of these old gods, which are still in reference to this. Now, Pharasma is still probably the biggest player in where you are, because you are actually in a town called Wati. Wati is about right here. If we need to make this a little bit ever, Cheliax, there's Absalom. You've done Rise of the Rune Lord. It's way up that way. But Wati is where you start, and where we spent the entirety of book one really through. More importantly, we spent the entirety, or the most part of the book in the necropolis. And that is the fact that a portion of the city is just where they bury their dead and where they have thousands of years of history and undead lying around. It's really cool when you look at the history of it. You have to investigate some of it. Like most APs, they give you probably more than you will ever need for it, but it's really worth it if you like this kind of stuff, and it's just pretty cool. They do have a tendency, one of my gripes is you go, at least we did, through almost several levels without having to really shop. I don't know if there's a mechanic or if the GM just took pity on us, but we had this mechanic where it was like a shop. It was turned out being a dragon. I don't know what you'll run into or if it's something different, but basically we had to trade. So we traded for certain percentages of value and everything. And it was an interesting way of letting us shop without letting us get rid of everything. But we were the players that we were ahead in gold per level. We took everything not nailed down that you're allowed to take, because you start off this campaign and you are in a raffle. You get tickets, obviously. You know, you're the party. And so you get given these tickets in 3 phases to go in, and you're raiding, but you're investigating 3 different tombs, 3 different places. And of course, the contestants, the other people involved, everyone's supposed to stick to their own tickets. Obviously, someone or some cult does not. And so you have to deal with them a little bit, but going in and listening to the history and you get some visions is really cool, but you're also going to run into a few things. So you're obviously going to be running into undead. So if you like undead campaigns, so far, book one, this is for you. But it's not just undead. So other things like outsiders, those kind of things that can be in a place for long periods of time, then that's what you're running into. I believe we've ran into a couple golems already going through book one. And it has been a little awkward for my character because my character is a kineticist that focuses on electricity right now. This is Foundry. If you watch any of my videos, you'll see it 100 times. I pull a lot of stuff from this. But going through, not only have I found that your inner old school dungeon crawling master is going to be coming out because you can definitely TPK in this AP, 100%. I knew that there were a few worries about it whenever we were going to play. Read the player's guide. If you're going to be a player, read the player's guide. Take everything they say for definite hints when it comes to playing and creating your character, because there are certain skills you're going to need. If you want all the history, it's not as bad. Ancient Osiriani, someone getting access to that will be good. It'll help you a few times. A lot of it, you'll get history from it if you want that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of it. Also, as a GM, you're going to need to practice the names because, my goodness, the names. I'm not really sure how many Akinateps or other different names like that that are hard for me to pronounce have come up, but there's a lot of them, and I have notes on them. And they are just, you're just going to have to, one, be able to keep them in order, and two, hopefully be able to pronounce them properly for your players. But your dungeons, you can die. And I found that out because I probably should have died the first time we did anything. We go to the first temple, open a door, nothing happens, and there's a hole. We have to go down the shaft to get to the actual dungeon. Okay, fine. You attach a rope, you do this, you roll a 1. It's a 50-foot drop. It's a 50-foot drop. And I'm level 1. And I mean, I'm a kineticist, so I've got pretty good HP. I'm level 7. I have over 70 HP right now. This has got some variants to it. Let's see. She allowed me to use a half dwarf. She found because I wanted to be a half human character, and I didn't want to be just the normal half elf. I think we have at least one in the party. And so I worked that into my backstory. But yeah, remember to set your bag down if you have anything that affects your acrobatics or your climb checks or something, especially at low levels. Set your bags down. Go ahead and take care of whatever you need to and play the dungeon smart. Me and another player, because I brought a collapsible 10-foot pole, we did old school. And every 5 feet, we're like, okay, GM, every 5 feet, we are doing this. And we checked every step, and we checked every square. And we still thought we were going to drown at one point, and we were still in a room that almost killed one of us with poison darts flying from the walls. Be advised, a lot of these traps reset. We figured out the timers for them because we were just messing around with them to try and keep ourselves alive. But there are several traps which can kill you. And there's a couple fights. I had to run during one of the fights at the end. We ended up fighting another party, which was illegal, and we turned them in. And I ended up running because they got back to me. I was supposed to be in the back, and I am making as much distance between me and them as possible just to survive. And so I'm basically trying to kite them. Then I had to join in. Fear effects. I have had 4 fear effects happen to me in the first book, and I'm not frontline. We have had 1 or 2 players that have just went fleeing. And so will saves, bring will saves. I'm a kineticist. Mine's always going to suck, and so I got to do something. But your will save is going to be important because you're going to have fear effects. Curses. We have a cleric, thankfully, because the ability to remove curses, and not just ability damage, which we've already had, but to be able to remove curses is going to be very important. You're going to come a lot of it. Mummy rot, curses, I mean, all sorts of stuff. And so you're going to have to find a way or pay someone to fix you up. Skills, they mention it in the player's handbook, and they are correct. I brought along this little guy because I knew we needed a familiar. So this is my Sage familiar, level 7 right now. We just hit 7, so he is coming fully into play instead of just part of my mental psychosis. If you've ever messed with the ability of a kineticist to have elemental whispers, you know what I mean. But a Sage familiar helped out a lot because you're going to need religion a lot. Planes, quite a bit. Everyone needs perception, but those two are good. Arcana can save you a little bit of pain as well as spellcraft, not just identifying magical items. And there's a few magical items you're going to get. They will probably leave your party loot tilted in those players' favor that take them, because we have a couple items. We had a ghost touch weapon within the first handful of weapon levels. Same thing for one of the other characters. She uses whatever that special weapon is that they use. Can't remember what it's called. It has that weird hook. It's that thing that they've got. Focusing on that. It's this thing. Whatever that is. Kapesh or something or another. I don't know. But whatever that is, yeah. They give one of those, and whoever can use that is going to want to use that for the rest of the campaign. It bypasses damage reduction. And that's another thing, too, with this game, going through the module. At level 6, I start hitting spell resistance. Level 6. Since I'm using Energy Blast most of the time, maybe it was even 5. 5 and 6, I'm hitting spell resistance. Normally, you don't hit that till later. So, spell resistance is going to be hit. Not only that, I didn't think electricity normally had this many creatures resistant to it, but there is quite a few creatures with resistance to electricity. So if you're playing a character like mine, you either might want to play something else or just get used to the fact that you need to band your combat ability, because they have resistance and we're still in single digits. And I started noticing that early on. Also, there's a lot of damage reduction. Some of it outsiders. I don't remember peaking totally at any monsters, so it's just you're going to run into damage resistance. So if you can figure out a way as a marshal to get by it, that's good. So you're looking at outsiders with damage reduction. I think we had an undead with it, and then multiple creatures having resistance, and I think 1 or 2 immunities to electricity entirely. So, or practical immunity for my level. So it is definitely something. If you like fire, this is probably the campaign for you, because there is apparently a template where fire, as we found out, actually deals more damage. It's one of the mummy templates that they're going to be using throughout this for their undead. And so, yeah, if you're wanting to have a character that's good against undead, this is the campaign for you. Our cleric has gone in, and she has a few extra uses per day of her channel. So she has wiped out an entire fight before. Just go in. Bunch of trash zombies. It's going to take us 3 rounds, maybe 4 to get through all of them. And she goes in and hits them. And maybe they lasted the next round, but she's double tapped and completely gotten rid of them. So if you like that kind of a character, then this is definitely the campaign. Undead. So immunities apply if you're going to play a caster. Same thing goes for several other things. Immunities against any mental status, things like that. Remember to prep your skills. But the campaign itself is just fantastic. It is really nice to play through. It's really well written. It's got a lot of cool history. It's got a lot of Egyptian flair, obviously. But we have just thoroughly enjoyed it. There's some room for RP for doing stuff. We have made some more ourselves. My party's kind of 50-50 on it anyway. But in general, it's just something that we have all enjoyed. Money-wise, we've been kept at level or advanced due to what she's been giving us. So you probably won't have any issues with that. You will have 2 or 3 levels where if there's coming a kind of like trader mechanic, you won't get to go to the shop. Because I kept asking him like, hey, do you think we could go shop this level? No? Okay. It's around 5. So 5 and 6, and then level 7, we got to go actually shop. But entirety level 5, we were just holding on to a whole bunch of gold. Or we had to stash it. But it's really well written. Like I said, a lot of names. Traps, just be careful with it. I have read a lot of people have TPK'd and TPK'd even in more advanced books. And there's a couple hard fights, especially the ones at the end for the first book, but we didn't have anyone die. We have had someone go down. I think I went down or almost went down. And then we had another character that went down once. Maybe she went down twice. She's melee. We've got to get her AC up. But all in all, if you like any of the mummy design, if you like any of the Egyptian lore, then I totally recommend Mummy's Mask. And I mean, I don't know if it's just the girl we got running it. It could just be her, but everything is just super fun. And we've been having a complete blast in our game. So that's pretty much it for Half Dead City. Remember, take a cleric with you and get ready for lots of undead. But otherwise, take it careful, watch your step, and you and your party might make it out alive. Either way, you'll have a blast doing it. Enjoy the campaign, and when we finish with book 2, I'll give you our story and see if anyone dies. All right, have fun.